You don't need to search far, just come back to the Father. This is God's love unending, a place where you are reminded that love is still waiting for you.
My beloved child, prepare your heart, for soon there will be moments when your soul feels troubled, like a still lake suddenly stirred into waves by a wild wind. It is not because I have stepped away or abandoned you. On the contrary, I am here, closer than your very breath. But you are living in a noisy and chaotic world, a place where the sounds of worry, empty promises, cunning schemes, and subtle temptations echo constantly in your mind like a dissonant melody. They crowd into your heart, trying to drown out my gentle yet powerful voice. And so, at times, your soul will feel unsettled, pulled in directions that were never meant for you. My child, tonight I place an unmistakable marker before you, a line not to condemn, but to illuminate. It is not a boundary of punishment, but an invitation to awaken. You can no longer live in hesitation, holding the hand of fear while still trying to cling to faith in me. Your soul can only be wholly given to one or the other. If you allow false voices to continue reigning within voices that say you're not good enough, not worthy, that you'll never make it, how will you ever hear my tender whisper calling you back to eternal truth, the truth that you are a child of light, chosen, loved, and held? You must choose. Not because I will stop loving you if you don't choose me, but because my love for you runs so deep that I cannot sit idly by while you remain bound in darkness without reaching out to save you. I paid the price with my very life to break every chain that holds you captive. I walked into the deepest night to bring you into the light. I sacrificed myself to tear the thickest veil and fling wide the door once thought only for the perfect. No, you don't need to be perfect. You only need to be honest. You don't need to be strong. You only need to be willing. You don't need all the answers. You just need to turn around and take a step toward me. My heart has no cold iron gate, no lock, no guards. My throne room is not hidden behind unreachable walls. You don't need to climb over any barriers to draw near to me. I've already torn them all down for you. Today, right now, you can walk in. No one can stop you except your own fear, the quiet doubts buried within, and the accusations you've carried for years. But I ask you, lay them down. Let me carry them. For the hands once stretched wide on the cross are still open, waiting for you. My child, don't let your heart be swept away like a dry leaf in the currents of a noisy world. Don't let gossip, human standards, or creeping doubt erode the holiness and peace I have poured into you. Whenever your heart is in turmoil, remember, no noise is louder than my call of love. When the world tries to bury you beneath the ashes of failure, sin, or the past, remember, I am the one who can rekindle the fire in what seemed extinguished. This is not a rebuke, nor a demand. It is the urgent call of a father who loves you with a love that never fades. I do not expect you to become strong overnight, nor do I require heroic acts. I only long for you to open your heart once more, despite all the times you've stumbled, despite every disappointment you've faced, for it is in your weakness that my power is made perfect. It is in your darkness that my light shines most brilliantly. Move forward, even if it's just a small step. Crossing that line is not stepping into fear, but stepping into true peace, the place where you will find rest in the arms of the one who never changes. And then you will see, true peace is not the silence of circumstances, but the stillness of the soul, even when the storm still rages. Peace is not escape from reality, but the certainty that in every reality, I am with you. You were not created to collapse, to live in doubt, but to stand firm, to soar in the freedom I have won for you with my own blood. So, my beloved, walk forward. Don't hesitate. Don't return to the darkness just because it feels familiar. Choose life. Choose light. Choose me, my beloved child. I know every hidden corner of your soul where you once trembled in lonely shadows, where you cried in silence and no one noticed. Nothing in you is foreign to me. No pain you carry is beyond my understanding. You have felt unseen, as though the whole world turned away, but I never turned my face. In your darkest hours, when your heart was so heavy that words failed, I was there, quiet, but never distant. You were never as alone as you thought. I have never been absent. There are wounds in you whose depth only I can comprehend. There are disappointments layered in your soul like ancient sediment. Thought forgotten, but still aching. I've seen them all. I was there when your heart was crushed by rejection, by feeling not enough, by shame you tried to bury so no one would see. I am not repulsed by those things. On the contrary, I cherish every broken piece of you like a master artisan, gently gathering shards of a precious vase not to discard, but to restore with my endless love. You may think your tears are meaningless, but to me, not a single drop is wasted. I have counted everyone not to scold you for weakness, but to show you that every pain you've endured matters deeply to me. Those tears will not fall in vain, for I will use those very moments of hurt to create something of value. From pain, I birth compassion. From brokenness, I shape wisdom. From your falls, I write a story that can bring healing to others. But, my child, there is one truth you must understand clearly. The enemy cannot steal what I have placed within you. He cannot touch what belongs to me in you. So he aims to make you forget it. He doesn't need to take your blessing only to make you turn away from it. He sows confusion in your thoughts, whispers of doubt, glittering but hollow illusions, words that sound comforting but pull you subtly away from me. He places in your hands what feels pleasant, so you let go of what is truly precious. My living presence within you, you may not even realize it. But many times, you have chosen temporary ease over eternal goodness. That's all right, I'm not surprised. I'm not shocked when you stumble, because I know the path of growth is long and imperfect. Yet no matter how many times you turn away, my love for you does not change. Not even a little. I don't love you because you get it all right. I love you because you are mine. Today, you may look at yourself and only see weakness. You blame yourself for things you promised to leave behind but keep repeating. You feel ashamed of words said in anger, disappointed for falling into habits that hurt you. You see failure, but my eyes are not like yours. I see deeper than your mistakes. I see your longing to change, your sincerity, the small steps you still take each day, though no one notices. I do not love you because you are flawless. I love you even in all your flaws. My love didn't begin with your actions. It began with my eternal intent in creating you. That love is not a reward. It is the beginning of your every journey. If you believe you must do well enough to deserve me, then you're carrying a burden I never placed on your shoulders. My grace has no limit, no conditions, no only if or unless. It simply says, I choose to love you, and you don't need to hide your weariness from me. You don't need to pretend strength when your heart is crying out in weakness. Come to me as you are now. No need to dress up in fake faith. No need for the armor of pretense. For I don't love some perfect version of you. I love you whole, just as you are in this very moment. I am the place where you can fall safely, the shelter when storms surround, the arms that catch you when your feet can no longer stand, when others may turn away, when even you doubt your own worth. I remain unchanging, unwavering. You were chosen, not by accident, not by chance, but by intention. I wanted you. I called you. And when I call, no one can silence that call unless you reject yourself. You do not have to fight alone. My spirit is not a distant flame, flickering far above where you can only gaze up in longing. No, that flame is burning within you, smoldering through days when your faith feels weary, rising into brilliance in the moments you dare to choose me over the call of the flesh. Even when you feel cold, you are not empty. Even when you feel alone, you are not abandoned. And remember this, my child, victory is not far away. It is already alive within you. I shattered the power of the enemy the moment I declared from the cross, "It is finished." You do not fight to win, you fight from victory. I have already won on your behalf. Now, you need only rise and stand in the light of that truth. Let me be your father, not the father of perfect children, but the father of hearts that dare to return. I did not come to condemn you, but to restore you, not to remind you of the past, but to open the way forward. And that future begins today, with a softened heart, ready to be open, and a soul brave enough to believe, I am still loved, despite everything. And you can lift your head high, not because you are without fault, but because you are forgiven, not because you are strong, but because you are upheld, not because you've arrived, but because you are walking with me. And I, the one who never breaks a promise, will bring you to the place where you truly belong, forever, in my arms, in unchanging love, in the deep peace no one can take from you. My beloved child, I have seen how tired you are, carrying burdens I never asked you to bear. The weight of perfection, of unclear expectations, of unresolved guilt. None of these are yours to carry. You've wrapped yourself in things that do not belong to you. The voices in your mind, the quiet but persistent accusations, the ghosts of your past clinging tightly to your soul as if they were part of your identity. But I tell you the truth, they do not define you. They have no authority to imprison you. I have watched you through long days and deep nights, through moments when your thoughts were tangled in silence that no one else could see, even in your quiet battles, even behind the smiles and the polite, "I'm fine." I have seen a heart that longs for rest. At times, your fear has screamed louder than my voice. But I do not blame you. Because I know this world knows how to wear you down, it feeds you distorted standards, impossible ideals, and convinces you that you must face it all alone. But tonight, I call you home, not to a faraway place, but back to your truest self, the one born in love, nurtured in goodness, and called to live in my presence. Step out of the whirlwind of lies and into the land of stillness, where my voice is not drowned out. There, you will hear me whisper, "I'm still here. I never left." And let your soul be still. like waters calming after the storm. Listen to me, not with anxious ears, but with a thirsting spirit. I know you feel empty. I know the cracks in your heart have hardened with disappointment. But I also know this: even one drop of truth from me can bring a wilderness back to life. Receive it. Open your heart like dry ground awaiting rain, because my word is life, not another burden, not an imposed command, but the stream of healing. My child, you were not created to live beneath the shadow of fear. I did not breathe life into you so you would begin each day heavy with dread, as though survival is your only goal. No. He formed you for peace, for joy, for steadfastness amid the storm. I am not the author of confusion. I am not the unseen hand pushing you into chaos. Those things do not come from me. They are remnants of the world, schemes of the enemy, the fallout of a creation that has stopped listening to love. I, on the other hand, am your safe haven. My voice carries gentle assurance, not threat. Every word I speak is a lamp for your path, a balm for your hidden wounds. My presence is not merely comfort, it is deliverance. I come to untangle the knots you've learned to live with, to remove the chains you thought were permanent. They've been there so long that you've come to see them as part of yourself. But you are mistaken. You were not born for bondage. You were born for freedom. And I want to say this clearly, so there is no room for doubt in your heart. You are mine. Not vogue. Not temporarily, but eternally. From before time began, before any speck of dust became a star, I had already thought of you, not in passing. I imagined your shape, your voice, your laughter, the way you love, your small dreams, even your future failures. And knowing all of that, I still said, I want you. End of. You are my handcrafted masterpiece, formed in the hidden places. Not a single detail of you is excess. Even the parts of yourself you wish you could erase, I saw them in advance, and still called them precious. Your first breath was no accident. It was the beginning of an intentional journey. And I am the one who breathed life into you with a purpose, that you would live, and live abundantly in me. You may lose your way, grow weary, even forget who you are, but I will never forget. And more than anything, I want you to remember too. Remember that you are not defined by your failures, not limited by the words that hurt, not controlled by the past. Your true identity is not held by others, it is held in me, where your image has been engraved since the beginning of creation. You may have lived too long under unfamiliar voices, been carried by winds that had no clear direction. But today, I call you back, not back to a rigid faith, not to prove your worth, but back to restoration. To hear again the familiar call, you are my child. To know that you no longer have to fight to be loved. My love for you is not earned. It has always been there. My child. Pause for a moment. Pause amid the rush of life, where the noise of this world tries to drown out your emptiness. I know you've lived too long in the grind of striving, correcting, suppressing, only to be met with more disappointment. I see you, with a heart cracked by unmet desires, with trembling hands trying to hold on to something that was never meant to last. You've walked and walked, yet still feel unsteady. Why? Because you've sought assurance from things that never promised to stay. I have never recorded your years by your mistakes or failures. I do not measure you by how many times you've fallen, or by the times you were not enough. I do not see you through the lens of the world, a world that measures by productivity, achievement, appearance, or approval. No, I have measured you by something far more sacred, by the eternity I placed in your soul. Since before time began, I breathed into your heart the first sparks of faith, of compassion, of the ability to love without calculation. You were woven together with the threads of life and creativity. I gave you the capacity not just to survive, but to live radiantly, no matter how deep your darkness. The light you carry still shines. You are not a victim of the dark, you are a bearer of light. That is your destiny. That is what I ordained from the beginning. But I also know there are days, even years, when you've lost sight of that truth. I see your confusion, not because you are broken, but because you are tired. The world has repeated to you, again and again, you only have worth if you perform, if you stand out, if you meet standards no one truly understands. And you believed it? You took those words into your soul as if they were truth. You forgot that your value lies not in what you can do, but in who you are, the one I chose, called, and sanctified by my very presence. I know you've blamed yourself, tried to heal every crack with discipline, with busyness, with schedules packed full. But here is something I want you to hear clearly. You don't need to be fully healed to come to me. You don't have to dry your tears before you lift your eyes. You don't need to understand everything in order to believe. You don't have to be okay to be held by me. On the contrary, it is in your confusion, in your weakness, in your brokenness, in your conflict, that I long for you to come to me the most. Come. You don't need to hide your anger, nor bury your disappointment, nor suppress the questions that remain unanswered. I am not afraid of your pain. I am not wearied by the repetition of your weaknesses. You can come to me with all the chaos, confusion, and tangled knots inside of you. Come with an imperfect heart, for I do not love the heart that's been polished and perfected. I love the heart that dares to admit it needs me. Sometimes you think you've become numb, that you're no longer sensitive, no longer moved, no longer yearning. But let me tell you this, your heart is still beating, and there are still quiet echoes within it. You've simply learned to cover your ears for too long to the deepest things. I have never stopped calling. I have never grown tired of hoping in you. And no matter how cold your heart may feel, my love is strong enough to melt ice. My child, be still. Not a stillness of surrendering to despair, but a stillness grounded in trust. You don't have to strive so hard anymore. You are not alone in steering the boat of your life through the storms. I am here, always here, unchanging, unwavering, and I am inviting you to rest in my embrace. I will do what you cannot: heal, restore, lift, renew. But for that to happen, you must stop running, stop hiding, and sit down so I may hold you. You may think you've lost your way, but I have never lost sight of you. Not one step you take is outside of my gaze. Every tear, every sigh, every stumble, I have been there, marking them down, not to condemn, but to remember you, to remind you that I have always loved you, even in the moments when you couldn't love yourself. So don't wait until you're good enough to return. Come back just as you are heartbreaking, faith trembling, mind in disarray. Let me be your beginning, not just your end reward. Let my love be your foundation, not the goal you feel you must strive to earn, And when you choose to sit in my presence, when you dare to be still amidst the clamor of other voices, you will hear something no one else can say to you. I love you. I choose you. And I do not change. And as rebel, even if the world changes, even if you change, my love, my truth, my mercy remains the same yesterday, today, and forever. For I am the unchanging one, and you are the one I will never give up on. My beloved child, come home no matter how far you've wandered, no matter how many times you've fallen. Don't let the thought of once again shame you. I don't keep a record of your returns like a scoreboard. I don't close my heart with each of your hesitations. Every time you turn back, I am ready with arms wide open. I have never grown weary of you. Every returning step, no matter how hesitant, no matter how trembling, is a step I cherish. You may not see it, but I do. I don't see you through a tally of failures. I see you through the heart of one who loves tirelessly and keeps no count. There are days you feel so small you dare not lift your head. There are nights you wonder if you've been left behind, if others are going further, deeper, brighter in their faith. You feel like a flickering ember while others burn like blazing torches. You think, they must be closer to God, more obedient, more holy. But I do not see as the world sees. I do not measure faith by performance. I do not compare you to anyone. To me, you are a story entirely, your own, no copy. No rival. No comparison needed to prove your worth. Do you know, when you still hold a whisper of longing in your heart, just a faint murmur saying, I still want to seek you, that alone is a cry that echoes in heaven. Your quiet efforts, your silent kindness, your anonymous acts of love, the promises you keep when no one sees, they are all precious before me. You don't need a stage. You don't need applause. I see, and I remember every single one. Sometimes, you think your devotion is gone. You say, I don't pray like I used to. I don't read the word as before. I feel nothing in worship. But faith is not only shown in feelings. Faith is the choice made in confusion. It's when you choose not to give up, even with a troubled heart. It's when you keep walking, though you're unsure of the path. It's when you bow before me, even when you have no words left to speak. These, my child, are true worship, the kind that rises above emotion and touches the depth of faithfulness, and I receive it all with deep affection. My love for you is not something you must earn. It already exists, unchanging, unwavering, unwithdrawn. That love is the foundation you can stand on when everything else crumbles. Even if the storm swirls around you, even if the voices in your mind sow constant doubt, that does not alter the truth. You are the one I have chosen. Don't mistake the storms for your home. Don't let the toxic voices of fear, shame, or disappointment define who you are. They are not your inheritance. You were not born to live in cycles of failure, not born to bow before the roar of darkness. You were born of light, for light to shine. You were made to stand not by your own strength, but by the grace I have placed within you, a grace sufficient even in your weakest places. I do not call you worthless sinner. I call you by names you've forgotten, redeemed, beloved, carried, of immeasurable worth. You are a child of life, a bearer of the image of the Creator. Even when you feel faint, I still see the fire in you blazing. Even when you think you are just a drop in the ocean, I see the drop that stirs the waves. and you are never invisible to me. You may not see yourself as a warrior, because all you feel now is confusion. But I see differently. A warrior is not one who is always fearless, but one who rises even when fear tries to drown them. One who remains loyal when there is no praise. One who still whispers, "I believe," even with trembling voice and bleeding heart. I see you fight this way, and I call you brave. Every time you choose to hold on to truth, even just in thought, amid a storm of lies, is a time you tear down a brick from the wall of darkness. Every time you choose to speak love instead of bitterness, choose silence instead of rage, choose prayer instead of despair, that is when my light spreads deeper into your life. You may not see the change in yourself, but I do. Great things often grow in silence, like a seed pushing through deep, dark soil. You are growing, maturing, being formed, not by your own strength, but because I am working in you. What I have begun, I will finish. Nothing can stop me from completing the good I've planned for you. So do not hesitate to return, even if you've turned away 100 times. I will still be there, not distant, not reproachful, not demanding perfection. I only long for you to be brave enough to believe I have never stopped loving you. Come home even if you are torn. Come with your heavy heart. Come with your weary eyes. I will wipe your tears. I will remind you of the truths you've forgotten. I will hold you until you realize I am still the beloved. This is my covenant. Wherever you go, I will not leave you. When you are weak, I will be strong for you. When your faith fails, I will remain faithful. When you forget me, I will still remember you. And every time you turn back, I will run without hesitation, without delay. My precious child, you are on the right path, farther along than you realize, though your heart may still be filled with uncertainties, and though at times you can only see one small step ahead in the vastness of the sea. I want you to know that I am pleased with you, not because you've accomplished something spectacular, but because you have not given up. Every faithful choice made in quiet obedience, every whispered prayer, when your faith was shaking, each one echoes in me, and not a single one goes unnoticed. But today, I invite you into something deeper. You've grown accustomed to the shallow waters where your feet still touch the ground, where control remains in your hands, where safety feels within reach. But my child, that is only the beginning. I did not call you to live a life lingering at the shoreline. I did not form you to merely taste and then retreat. I have an ocean for you, an ocean of abundant life, of things no eye has seen, no ear has heard, no heart has imagined. A place where closeness with me is no longer a dream, but a vivid and overflowing reality. To enter those waters, though, you must release what you once thought was indispensable, a bit deeply rooted, mindsets that seemed wise but secretly hinder your steps. The things you cling to for protection, all are weighing you down. I know they make you feel secure, but they are the very things keeping you from soaring higher. You cannot swim the ocean while clinging tightly to a stone. You will need courage to let go. Let go of reliance on your own reasoning. You do not need to understand everything before taking a step. Step away from the familiar where everything seems predictable. I am not the God of the mediocre. I am the one who transcends your logic. And I assure you, if you let me lead, you will not be swallowed by the deep. On the contrary, you will learn how to truly live in me, to breathe by faith, not by control. I will teach you to stand amidst the waves. I will guide your steps, even when there is no visible path ahead. The world will continue shouting in your ears, trying to convince you that my promises are foolish dreams. But do not fear. My voice is not drowned out. My love remains a lighthouse that never dims. Fix your eyes on me when all else grows unclear. When you wake in the morning, the noise will still be there. Emails, messages, pressure, unresolved thoughts. But choose me first. Before the world determines your mood, let me shape your day. Let your heart soak in my presence like fabric in fragrant oil, so that every action, every word, every thought of yours throughout the day will carry the scent of peace. Bring me your unrest, no matter how small or how overwhelming. I am not intimidated. The things that confuse you, I see clearly. The things that keep you spinning, I've already foreseen, and if you place them in my hands, I will give you the wisdom you need, not the world's wisdom, but understanding from above, gentle yet profound, steady yet filled with love. Do not think I am far. Do not believe I am waiting for you to prove yourself before I draw near. I am here in every heartbeat, every breath, every still moment within your soul. I am the quiet current constantly flowing through your life. You don't need to shout for me to hear. I've been listening before you even spoke. I've been preparing before you even recognized the need. And when you fall for it, surely will happen. Remember this: your stumble does not change my mind about you. I do not scold you for weakness. I do not condemn you for being unready. Every time you fall, I will be there with gentle eyes, with strong arms, not to let you drown, but to lift you up, brush off the dust, and remind you of what you so often forget. You are still the one I have chosen. You still belong to me. You do not need to fear the process. I am not seeking instant perfection. I am doing a careful work, a patient journey. Healing doesn't happen in a blink, but day by day, layer by layer. In every moment you allow me to touch you, and in each slow step, nothing is wasted. Every tear holds value. Every detour, if you turn back, will still become a lesson. Not for punishment, but for transformation. I am able to turn every mistake into testimony, to turn every wound into a witness of restoration. I do not forget the details, not even the ones you wish to forget. In my hands, all is redeemed. Nothing is useless. Nothing is too late. I will gather every fragment, and from them, I will create something new. So, my dear child, do not remain in the shallow waters out of fear of drowning. Do not live a life meant to soar, only to play it safe on worn paths. I am calling you deeper, not to lose yourself, but to rediscover your truest being, one who was made to dwell in the depths of my presence, to walk on what the world deems impossible, and to carry light into the darkest places. This is not a poetic promise. This is truth. And if you dare step forward, even with trembling feet, I will be right there, to hold you, to teach you, to shape you into the glorious version I imagined from the very beginning. And when you look back, you will not see a perfect journey, but one marked by the many footprints of grace. So, my beloved, open your heart to receive what I am about to speak, not just with your natural ears, but with the depth of your spirit, where I have placed the wellspring of life. This is not merely a reminder, it is a sacred invitation, as sacred as my presence in your life. Do you not see? There is a profound and meaningful reason why your soul longs for peace. not because you are weak, but because you were designed to live in peace like fish need water, like trees need soil, like hearts need a beat. It is not a fleeting emotion or a quiet moment when the world goes still. It is the core, the original state I placed within you. The peace you seek does not come from control, ideal circumstances, or perfect people. It comes from me, and only from me. I have placed within your soul a kind of sacred oxygen that is peace. It nourishes your spirit, keeps you sensitive to my voice, keeps your heart from hardening in the chaos of this world. When that peace is present, your soul becomes like a still lake where my reflection is clear, where my voice rings true and uncorrupted by the noise of lies. It is in that stillness that you truly come to know me, not through hurry, not through fear, but through complete and living communion, intimate and real. Therefore, beloved child, peace is not an accessory, it is a foundation, the root upon which you must stand. When it is disturbed, everything else in you is shaken. A restless mind leads to impulsive decisions. A soul without peace is easily swayed by deceptive voices. A heart not guarded by my stillness will soon fall into fear, doubt, and eventually, disorientation. The enemy knows this. He knows he cannot take away the Holy Spirit I have placed in you, because what belongs to me, I do not take back. But he has another strategy, to stir your mind. He scatters tiny fragments, one confusing thought, one hurtful word, one old memory that stings, one anxiety about a future you cannot control. These accumulate, slowly suffocating the life within you, causing you to question even my call. External noise, when left unchecked, becomes internal clamor, and in that, you begin to lose direction. You drift into paths I never assigned. You act under pressure rather than by my leading. You believe lies simply because they're louder and more familiar than truth, which has always been gentle, patient, and unforced. That is why I continually remind you, guard your peace like a watchman guards a city gate. Protect your mind like a soldier defends a treasure. Do not allow anything, no matter how small, how reasonable, or how convincing, to steal the stillness I created to be your refuge. I do not say that you must ignore reality. I do not ask you to turn a blind eye to pain or harsh truths. But I do want you to know that amid all of it, there can still be a quiet place, a place where you are not ruled by circumstances, where my voice rises above all that threatens you. That peace does not come from avoidance, but from the choice to enter into my presence. Though the world may tremble, you can still stand firm. If your heart is anchored in me, do you remember? It was I who said, "Peace, be still." When the storm arose, it was I who walked through the tempest to find you, not when you were strong, but when you were trembling in fear. I do not require you to be mighty in order to receive peace. I only ask that you surrender not in defeat, but in trust. Learn to return to my stillness daily, hourly, when you feel unsettled. Pause it. When your mind begins to outrun my word, slow down. When you find yourself moved to act out of fear, ask me first. Let me be the living stillness within you, not an empty void, but a space for me to work. My peace is not the absence of trouble, but the unwavering presence of myself within it. And dear one, when you guard your peace, you are engaging in a profound spiritual act, for it is how you protect the gateway of your soul from deception, It is the moment you refuse to let the world dictate your inner rhythm. It is the moment you declare that my voice matters more than anything else. Hold on to peace like a farmer clings to rare seed. From it will come fruit of joy, of clarity, of love reborn, and of faith matured. Let that peace be the space where I continue to shape you into who you were always meant to be, not one swayed by every shifting wind, but one who walks in step with my eternal heartbeat. And when you feel that peace begin to fade, do not be alarmed. Come back. Sit with me. Be still before me. Like a student before the teacher. Like a child in the arms of a father. I will renew you. I will breathe new life into you. Not pressure, but life itself. Not anxiety, but light. Not confusion, but clear direction. My beloved child, this is why I whisper today into your heart a gentle but authoritative call. Guard your peace as a sacred treasure. Do not take it for granted. Do not let it slip from your grasp like something trivial in life's hurried stream. For the peace I give is not a fleeting silence of circumstance, nor the false comfort of the world. It is the deep stillness that flows from my very presence where your soul finds its true home. In both bright days and shadowed ones, protect that peace like a watchman over a temple in the night, not sleeping, not distracted, not trading it away for approval or avoidance. Do not sacrifice your inner quiet for fleeting praise. Do not trade your calm for victory in a pointless argument, or to cling to a relationship that wounds you. Every time you surrender peace, you give confusion a place to enter, and where confusion reigns, my voice becomes harder to hear. My voice does not thunder like storm clouds. I choose to whisper not because I am weak, but because I want you to learn to quiet yourself to listen. But if your heart is filled with noise of worry, obsession, and the need to control, then my whisper is easily drowned out. That is why you must fiercely protect peace, like a warrior shielding a flame in the storm. Do not let it go out, for when it does, you will find yourself lost among unclear choices and doubtful voices from the world. You live in an age where everything demands attention. Everything screams that it is urgent, that it matters, that you must care immediately. But not all that is urgent is worth losing your peace over. Not every conversation deserves the offering of your heart. You were not created to react to everything. You were created to walk with the deep awareness that I am with you and that everything else can wait. Pause. Dear child, learn to be still before acting. Learn to retreat into my presence before you speak. It is in that peace that you will discern my true calling. It is in that stillness that you will begin to hear what you've missed among the noise. And in that hidden place, your faith will grow, not a faith built on emotions or circumstances, but one rooted, solid, and unshakable. Without peace, faith is easily pulled down by clouds of doubt. Without peace, you are likely to lose direction between human goals and my calling. Without peace, your identity gets tangled in expectations and pressure, and you lose sight of who you are in me. I did not create you to live like that, blurred, chaotic, reacting to every wave. I called you to live like a tree planted by the stream, rooted deeply in the waters of life, unmoved even when the drought stretches long. I am not the God of chaos. Do not blame me for the mess. I am the one who stepped into the primordial void and, with a single word, brought order to all things. I am the one who calmed the winds and silenced the sea, not by muscle, but by the authority of my breath. I am the one who placed the breath of life within you, not so you would live in panic, but in power, in love, and with a mind at rest. So do not be afraid. Dear child, when you must separate yourself from the crowd, do not hesitate to be silent among a sea of words. Do not feel guilty for choosing peace over people-pleasing. That is not escape, it is wisdom. You are not only guarding your mind, but the path of faith I've marked for you. You are protecting your ability to hear me clearly amid life's many calls. If you find yourself unsettled, torn, pulled between should and want, return to the place of peace. It is not far. It is me. Remember, not everything that feels urgent comes from me. Not every pressure is my guidance. I do not use fear to lead you. I do not use pressure to command you. I use love to call you. I use peace to confirm. And I use gentleness to guide each step. When you protect peace, you are keeping yourself within my influence. When you choose stillness over reaction, you are letting me lead, rather than letting the world pull lies. When you say no to what threatens your inner stillness, you are saying yes to a deeper life where faith is not a vague hope, but an unshakable foundation. You cannot control everything, but you can choose what you guard. And the most precious thing you have right now is not your talent, nor your potential, but the peace in your soul. From there, faith will bear fruit. From there, love will flow. From there, joy will endure. And in that place, you will find me not far off, not abstract, but as near as your next breath. So once more, I whisper, guard your peace. Do not let it slip through your fingers like sand. Do not let anyone or anything steal that sacred ground within you where I dwell. Watch over it like a fortress. Treasure it like gold. And let that peace guide you step by step, choice by choice, moment by moment, until you are no longer merely surviving, but truly living as I created you to live. In light, in clarity, my beloved child. Your mind is the battleground where the greatest wars are fought. It is the place no one else can guard for you. No one else can decide what you will nurture there each day. And it is in that very place that peace, the precious gift I have placed within you, can be preserved or lost in the blink of an eye. The moment you agree with a misplaced thought, I want you to understand this clearly. A steadfast mind is not an empty, unfeeling, or detached one. It is not indifference, nor is it disconnection from reality. A steadfast mind is one covered by my presence, protected by heavenly wisdom, upheld by unshakable truth. It is a mind trained to dwell on what is noble, kindness, truth, hope, and light. A mind that doesn't let itself be carried by every current, but knows how to discern what to welcome and what to let go. Take this to heart. Every thought, no matter how small or fleeting, is a seed. If you keep sowing fear, you cannot expect to harvest peace. If your mind feasts on despairing headlines, on silent comparisons, on stories cloaked as reality, but drenched in bitterness and rivalry, how can your soul find rest in my gentleness? Your mind, if left unguarded, will be slowly pulled away from life. Not loudly, not violently, but subtly, little by little. It begins with a small fear, a slight doubt, an innocent comparison, and eventually becomes a thick dust that muffles my whisper. And then you begin to think I've gone silent. But it's not I who went silent. It's your mind that became too loud. Peace does not come because every external circumstance is calm. Peace comes when your inner being is aligned with me. Just as a musical instrument must be tuned to the right frequency to produce the true melody, your mind must be tuned to my truth to sing the song of peace. You cannot endlessly listen to the dissonant harmonies of the world and expect to resonate with the deep tones of heaven. Be alert. Be mindful of the thoughts you feed. Not because I want you to live harshly with yourself, but because I want you to live free, truly free. Freedom is not the ability to think whatever you want. True freedom is the power to discern which thoughts lead to life, and to reject those that lead to fear, disappointment, and chaos. This awakening in your thought life becomes the foundation for an unshakable peace. I do not promise that you will never face turmoil, but I do promise that, even in the midst of the storm, I can give you a mind that will not be swept away. That kind of mind is not formed overnight. It is trained daily, through the smallest of choices like what you choose to read, what you choose to listen to, what you ponder before you sleep, or when you first wake. Do not underestimate these things, for they shape you more than you realize. And I do not ask you to pretend. If you are worried, come to me. Don't hide anything from me. But when you come, let me remind you of what is true. Let my words become a wall of protection around your mind. Every time you choose me, not once, but over and over, in every hidden moment of your heart, that is when peace is built, strengthened, and deepened. And remember this, peace is not merely a gentle feeling. It is a real presence, an invisible yet powerful armor, a sacred ground where faith takes root, grows, and blooms. If you do not protect peace, then the seeds of faith will be choked by the thorns of worry, pressure, and doubt. My child, I did not create you to live in inner chaos. I am not the author of confusion. I am the one who looked into the void and spoke the universe into being. I am the one who commands storms to be still with a single word. I am the one who breathed the first breath into you, not so you would live in crisis, but so you would walk in strength, in love, and with a sound mind. So then, hold on to what I have given. Set your mind on me. Rebuild peace like a fortress, not to escape life, but so you can walk through life without being swept away. And when you feel yourself drifting from peace, don't condemn yourself. Pause it. Return. Breathe in my presence. Every return is a victory. A steadfast mind is not one that never wavers. It is a mind that knows how to return, how to choose again, how to listen to me again and again. My beloved child, the peace you long for is not a fleeting state or a soft feeling you can only keep when all is smooth. It is not the gift of temporary calm. It is me, a steady, unchanging presence, ever with you, even when your heart is screaming, when life is pushing hard, when everything inside you feels like it's falling apart. Peace is not what comes after the storm, it is what holds you firm while the storm still roars. Peace does not mean the absence of sorrow, loss, or uncertainty. No. Peace is your eyes turned toward me when everything around you is in disarray. It is the ability to see the world through heaven's lens, where you know with confidence that nothing is beyond my hand. It is the deep and sacred awareness that you are never alone and nothing can separate you from my love. In that peace, your heart remains tender, even in a world that tries to turn you to stone. When every wound urges you to shrink back, build walls, and shut down. My peace gently opens another path, the path of forgiveness, the way of freedom, not because others deserve your forgiveness, but because your inner freedom is worth far more than the chains of unresolved pain. Do you know this? Peace does not make you weak. Peace makes you strong, a kind of strength that is quiet, that needs no proof. It is the strength of one who can still love after being hurt, still hope after failure, still move forward after falling. It is the strength that comes from deep roots in me, where your worth is no longer defined by the acceptance or rejection of others, but by my unwavering choice. I chose you, and I still choose you. Grace enables you to let go of what was never meant to be carried. It gives you the power to lay down resentment you thought you'd hold forever. It frees you from the burdens of pride, not by making you forget the pain, but by showing you that you are not defined by what others did to you. You are my child, and that name alone is enough to overcome every disappointment, every wound, every injustice. When your soul is quiet, you will hear what you could never discern in panic. My voice, not shouting, not forcing, just a whisper strong enough to silence every other scream in your life. A whisper that shakes the soul. Do not fear. I am here. When peace is protected, you will see what others miss. You will walk in clarity, not driven by fear, but led by faith. You will not be shaken by bad news, not be steady because everything is easy, but because you know whose you are. You will walk through hard seasons without letting them define you. You will pass through fire, but carry no smell of smoke. But if peace is broken, if you do not guard it, even the smallest thing will bring despair. A delayed word will make you question your worth. A correction will feel like an attack. A silent pause will make you think I've gone. You will grow weary from battles you were never meant to fight, straining to prove things I never asked of you. You will begin to carry burdens. I died to lift the burdens of self-definition, of striving endlessly to be enough. I have not called you to live this way. I did not create peace as a reward for those who are good enough, holy enough, cautious enough. I give peace as an essential part of the life of those born of my spirit. Peace is not a prize for the few. It is an inheritance for all who carry my life within them. It is not a reward for those in control, but a grace for those willing to be led. You do not have to wait for everything to be settled before you receive peace, because true peace does not depend on circumstances. The world only knows how to give calm when the trouble is gone. But that calm is fragile, fleeting, and always temporary. I, however, give peace as a source from within, not from without. A presence unchanging, strong, steady, secure even when everything else is trembling. The peace I give is my very self, the eternal one, unshakable. That peace does not vanish when you are weak, does not fade when you are confused, does not retreat when you fall. It remains waiting for you to remember, to choose again, to sit still and breathe in my presence. So come to me, my dear one, every time your heart trembles, every time your mind loses rhythm, every time you feel too weary to go on. Come not to explain, not to figure it all out, but simply to be still, to hear me, to let me hold you. Peace does not come from the answers, but from the one who holds all answers in his hands. My child, there are times when you wonder why the storm has not yet passed, why the winds still howl, the waves still rise, and the sky remains dark even though you have prayed, trusted, and tried your best to stand firm. But listen to me, I do not need to calm the storm to give you peace. True peace is not dependent on whether the storm ceases. It does not lie in the absence of hardship, but in the presence of me right there, in the rocking boat, with you. I do not stand afar, watching from a distance. I do not wait for you to survive the storm before I appear as a reward. I am beside you in every crashing wave, every gust of wind, every cry that rises from your circumstances. You may not see me clearly, but I have never left. And just one word from me, not to silence the storm, but to remind you I am here, is enough for your soul to find stillness again. So do not let anyone at all, steal your peace. Do not entrust that precious treasure to the hands of others. Do not let your emotions rise and fall with people's glances, their words, or their attitude. When you are misunderstood, when someone speaks words that pierce your heart, or acts unjustly and makes you feel small, do not be quick to react. Do not let your soul get swept into the spiral of bitterness or self-defense. Let these things reach their rightful place, me, for only I can handle them fully. Bring me every tear, every heavy word, every wound too deep to name. Let me cleanse your heart of the residue of anger and pain. Do not store them inside, for they will slowly invade the land of peace and turn it into a barren place. I do not want you to live with a heart full of thorns. I want to soften it, to soothe it, so that it can receive love and also give love naturally and unconditionally. Remember this, there is no injustice done to you that I do not see. No word that wounds you escapes my hearing. No look of contempt, no harsh act goes beyond my notice or my understanding. But here is the miracle I do not only see, I heal. No scratch is too small for me, no wound too deep for my power to restore. I am your defender, not one who guards from the outside, but one who is in the battle with you. Shield raised against the poison darts of the world. I am your advocate, not by ensuring you are always understood, but by ensuring you are always upheld. I do not promise that everyone will agree with you, but I promise to be the unshakable ground beneath you when everything else is shaken. Yet for me to do this, you must learn to step back. You must learn not to rush out from under the covering. I have prepared a place where peace builds your walls, where faith is your roof, and love is your foundation. Each time you step out to defend your honor, to reclaim your voice, out of fear of being misunderstood or hurt, you temporarily leave the stillness I've set aside for you. That is not wrong, I understand. But I want you to learn a higher way of living, where you are not driven by reaction, but led by presence. My dear child, I know the pain of being hurt. I have been scorned, slandered, betrayed. I know how deep it cuts. But I also know this: it is in the silence that faith grows. It is in the moment you choose silence out of trust in my defense that you hand me the authority to act. And I, the righteous one, never fail to fulfill my promises. You do not need to fight to prove your worth. You do not need to speak to secure justice. I see you, and that is enough. When you let me handle it, you will witness what you never dared to imagine. I can turn what others meant to break you into the very foundation of your elevation. I can use misunderstanding to awaken deeper understanding within you. I can use injustice to highlight the character I have planted in you. But the only condition is this: you must let me do it. You must choose the silence of faith over the outcry of pride or pain. You must accept that you do not need to answer every accusation. Do not need to correct every misconception. I will do that in the right time, in the right way, with purposes higher than what you can now perceive. And in the waiting, let me tend your soul. Let me anoint with healing the places in your heart that are weary. Let me say to you again and again, you are not alone. You are not abandoned, and you do not need to protect yourself anymore. I am your refuge. I am the arms that do not judge, the eyes that do not condemn, the voice that does not wound. And I will always be here waiting for you to return, to embrace you, and to teach you how to live, not just with outward calm, but with unshakable peace within. So hold on to that peace. As one holds a lamp in the dark, do not let anyone snuff out its light, not because they are stronger, but because you have been given the power to guard it. Do not give the key to your heart to the world, for it does not know how to cherish it. Place it in my hands, the one who understands you, loves you, and will never leave you. My beloved, listen closely, for what I'm about to say carries the weight of life and freedom. Guard your peace from the silent tearing of your own mind. Thought is a gift, yes, but when it is not under the guidance of the Spirit, it can become the most subtle snare. I see you, Marsh, wrestling with every possibility, calculating every outcome, burdened with things you were never made to carry. You worry not because you do not love me, but because you've mistaken your role as the one who must solve what only I can do. But, my child, the outcome is never your responsibility. You were not created to hold all the answers. No one expects you to worry enough to feel secure. Worry is not a sign of maturity. It does not make you responsible. It only drains your strength and clouds the vision I made to be clear. True wisdom does not come from an overloaded mind, but from a peaceful heart that quietly listens for my whisper. I do not dwell in the frantic rush of thoughts. I do not guide through urgency, panic, or pressure. My presence always carries a gentle breath, a steady voice among the noise. When you feel confused, when your mind is a dusty echo chamber, you don't need to think your way through. You need to return to the place of peace. And often, it is there that you'll find the path I've long prepared for you. You often mistake complexity for depth, but I do not lead you into a maze. What comes from me may stretch you, challenge you, take you beyond your comfort, but it will never shatter your soul. My guidance never crushes, it uplifts, heals, and builds. When I call with peace, not a fleeting sense of relief, but a solid ground that enables you to stand firm even in the midst of storms. And dearest child, the most important thing, protect your peace while you wait. Waiting, so small it may seem, is the place where the deepest holy work is done. I know that waiting sometimes feels like walking through scorched and barren land. There are days when you cannot even find a cloud in the sky or hear a word of encouragement. You ask, when, Lord? And in that moment, the thirst in your soul feels greater than the patience you have left. But my child, the waiting is not in vain. It is never empty. In every moment you stand between the promise and the not yet. I am doing a deep work within your soul. I am shaping you, not just so you may arrive at what I have promised, but so that you will be ready to carry it with integrity and wisdom. I am training you to discern my voice amidst the many others, so that when the promise comes, you will not lose yourself in the rush, but instead preserve your spirit. You often think the reward awaits at the end of the journey, but I tell you this, my presence along the journey is the reward. Those mornings you seek me in silence, those nights you cry with me when no one else sees. Those moments when you choose to believe, even when all that surrounds you is waiting. That is where my glory shines the brightest. If, in the waiting, you lose your peace, you will easily run after shortcuts, rash decisions, sweet compromises that feel right at first, but pull you away from what I've truly prepared. The world will always offer something faster, easier, immediate, but true blessing is never a rushed gift. It must be wrapped in endurance, bound with faithfulness, and opened by a heart refined through waiting. Be watchful. What robs you of peace does not always come in obvious wrongs. Sometimes it is seemingly wise advice that does not come from my spirit. Things that appear harmless, but trade away the stillness of your soul. Every time you surrender peace just to gain a quick answer, you are stepping outside of my covering, not because I withdraw, but because you've walked away from where I wait for you, the place of stillness, the place of faith, the place where I am enough. On the other hand, when you choose to hold on to peace, even when nothing around you changes, you are, in that very moment, stronger than ever before. You are proving that your heart is not ruled by circumstances, that your trust in me is greater than any outward sign, and I promise you, you will never wait in vain. When my timing arrives, what you receive will not only be what you prayed for, but strength, clarity, and a heart taught by me. I am not rushed. I am never hasty, but I am never late. Every moment you choose me in silence, in disappointment, in waiting, I remember. Every time you reject false comforts to hold on to my presence, I see it, and not a single tear, not a single step through the wilderness is wasted. I use it all to form you into who you truly are, the one I created to fully receive my promise. My beloved child, guard your peace as if you were guarding the most precious jewel of your life, especially in your relationships. For peace is not merely a pleasant feeling, but a portion of my presence I've placed within you. And when you step into any interaction, be it a brief conversation or a lasting connection, the first thing to protect is the peace in your heart. Not everyone who comes into your life is meant to stay forever. Some are like a cool breeze in a hot season, bringing comfort, joy, and grace-filled companionship. But others arrive like whirlwinds, not to destroy, but to shape you. They do not come to make you fall, but to reveal the parts of you still in need of healing. And sometimes, through the most difficult relationships, I am refining you so that my image in you becomes clearer. But remember this, no one and no relationship, no matter how close or familiar, has the right to take the peace I have given you. If a relationship consistently leaves you disoriented, unsettled, stealing your joy, and clouding your clarity, pause. Not to cut it off impulsively, not to judge harshly, but to bring it before me. Place it in my hands, and ask me, Lord, how can I love this person without losing myself? How should I hold this connection without it weighing down my soul? Because, my child, here is a truth. Love does not mean letting others trample the sacred boundaries of your soul. Forgiveness does not mean silently enduring endless pain. And true peace is not avoiding conflict at all costs, but living truthfully, with kindness and wisdom, walking hand in hand. I want to teach you to establish boundaries, not to build high walls and close your heart, but to discern rightly, to know that your no is not a rejection of love, but an act of self-respect founded in me, to understand that not every invitation requires your yes. Not every criticism deserves a reply, Not every angry voice needs your explanation. Sometimes, peace is found in silence, not silence born of exhaustion or defeat, but of trust in me. When you live in my stillness, you are testifying to something greater than all justifications, that I live in you, in a world rushing to respond, eager to have the last word, desperate to win every argument. Your silence becomes a strength none can deny. When you choose not to react as expected, when you choose gentleness over retaliation, when you walk away without applause, you are showing them me. When others see you keep your joy in heavy seasons, you continue to love though you've been hurt. Still hope amid hopelessness. They will wonder. They will ask, why don't you get angry? Why haven't you fallen apart? How do you still smile in hardship? And in that moment, it won't be sermons, but your life that becomes the testimony. You won't need to explain at length, just answer with the honesty of your heart, because I know the one who holds me, and he is my peace. My child, do not confuse kindness with resignation. Do not think that to love means to erase your boundaries. Humility does not mean letting others control your mind. Learn to live with a tender heart, but one that cannot be manipulated. Be open, but not without discernment. Be ready to forgive, but also ready to step back when that is what it takes to protect your inner quiet. Because peace is not the absence of conflict, it is my presence, even in the midst of conflict. Peace is when you can enter tension without being swept away by emotion, when you can listen without absorbing the negativity, when you can set boundaries without anger, when you can walk away without guilt because you are guarding the treasure I entrusted to you, your very heart. So, if a relationship weighs heavily on you, sit with me. If someone causes you to doubt yourself, clouds your clarity, and robs your lightness of spirit, bring that into the secret place between you and me. I will show you how to walk, not in bitterness, but in peace, not to escape, but to be led, not to distance your heart, but to draw it closer to mine. My child, your peace is precious. Do not trade it to please others. Do not sacrifice it out of fear of offending. Do not let unhealthy relationships pull you away from the resting place I have prepared for you. You have the right to guard the purity of your heart, and I will help you do so gently, powerfully, and with grace. And remember, you do not have to explain to everyone why you are silent, why you do not respond, or why you choose to step back. Simply know this: I am pleased with you, and your peace is living evidence that you belong to me. I still see you through the beauty of your connections and the entanglements alike. I still walk with you even as some come and go. And I, the one who never changes, will always be the safe refuge where your heart finds rest. My child, the peace I give you is not merely a sanctuary for your soul, but a stream of living water for the thirsty around you. It is not a treasure to be locked away, but a flowing river, a gift from heaven meant to pour out, to refresh weary hearts, to revive dry souls. You have been called not only to receive peace, but to carry it like a lamp in the night, like the dawn breaking through the darkness. But, dear one, you cannot share what you do, not first preserve. A river can only flow if its source remains alive. So how do you guard this precious gift? The answer always begins with returning. Return to me. Not just once, not just when you are exhausted, but daily, like the beat of your heart, like the breath that sustains you. Remain in me, like a branch clings to the vine, for apart from me, you cannot hold on to anything for long. Peace does not come from striving, but from abiding in my presence, in my love, in my living word. Let my word be more than something you hear occasionally. Let it be the breath you live by, the foundation you stand on, the lifeblood nourishing every thought, every feeling, every action. When your heart is filled with my word, fear will have no room to enter. When your mind is saturated with the eternal, the urgent cries of the world will lose their grip. But you must be vigilant, for many things seek to slip into your mind. The world never stops speaking, never stops luring, never stops tempting. What you watch, what you hear, what you ponder, these are all gateways into the deepest part of your soul. Guard them like a watchman at the gate of a holy temple. Do not let anything sow doubt, bitterness, comparison, or fear within you. If it does not bring life, you have the right to refuse it. Choose what nourishes, not what merely satisfies in the moment. Choose holiness over appeal. Let your heart be filled with the eternal, not to escape reality, but to see it through. My eyes, when your mind is renewed, you will not be swept up in fleeting concerns. When your mind is washed daily in my word, peace will not merely visit, it will dwell. It will take root. It will grow. You must also learn this, though it may be difficult. It is the key to lasting peace in your heart. Forgive. Forgive quickly. Forgive fully. Do not wait for others to change before letting go. Do not wait for your emotions to calm before allowing your heart to heal. Forgiveness does not mean what happened was right. It means you will not let that wrong rule your soul. Forgiveness is the act of the strong, the sign of the free. Unforgiveness is like a thorn hidden in soft cloth. It silently makes the heart bleed. At first, it only stings, but over time it infects. It distorts how you see the world, staining even what is good. You cannot hold on to peace while clutching the desire to retaliate. The hand can only hold one thing. Give me that thorn. I know it hurts. I know someone wounded you so deeply, you think forgiveness is impossible, but you do not have to do it alone. I will help you remove it gently. But surely, I will place my hand over the wound and heal it. I will anoint the place where it once bled. But you must be willing to let go. You must trust me enough to give me the right to judge. I will do what is just. I will restore not in the way you imagine, but in the way only I can. You are not called to be the judge. You are called to be like me, the one who forgave betrayal, the one who loved while being crucified, not because it is easy, but because it leads to true freedom. When you choose to forgive, you open the door for peace to enter. You free yourself from the chains of bitterness. You step out of the cycle of resentment, and you let me write a new story, instead of letting the past write more pain. And so, you will become a bearer of peace, not just one who keeps it, but one who gives it. Your peace will spread like fragrance in a crowded room. People will draw near to you and not understand why they feel lighter. They will sense a stream running through you, and they will thirst for it. But for that to happen, you must keep your heart pure. You must let me be the source, not the world. My child, peace does not come from everything being in place. It comes when your heart is in the right place in me. And when you learn to live this way, returning daily, remaining in me, choosing what is good, releasing resentment, and listening to my voice above all others, you will not only preserve peace, but become a shelter for others, a warm home, a cool river, a gentle light in the winter of people's hearts. My beloved child, learn to practice silence, not just outer quiet when things stop moving, but an inner awareness of my presence in your spirit, a sacred space within where you deeply know I am there. I do not need noise to be recognized. I do not require lights, stages, or grand gestures. I choose to come to you in stillness, where nothing obstructs, where no one intrudes. Silence is not the absence of something, it is the presence of me. Be still and know that I am God. Not just believe, not only hope, but know. Know with a deep certainty in your heart. Know by experiencing, by sitting and letting your soul settle, by stopping the running, the worrying, the striving, and simply being before me. In that silence, you will be reminded of what matters most, who I am, and even more who you are in me. The world runs on hurry. People race against time, expectations, standards, and each other, and sometimes you are swept up in it too. You compare your journey to others, measure success by appearances, worry that you're not fast enough, far enough, or on time. But child, my kingdom does not move by human clocks. My kingdom moves to the rhythm of trust. Every step in it is led not by urgency, but by surrender. I am never in a hurry, but I am never late. Everything I do is on time, not early, not delayed, but precise. When you live in stillness, you will hear this truth. You are not behind. You are not out of step. You are exactly where you need to be in my hands. My pace may not match your schedule, but it always leads to life. And if you wait in silence, you will learn to walk not with confusion or pressure, but with the confidence that comes from trust. But I also know there will be moments when you lose peace. That does not disappoint me. I am not surprised when you stumble. I do not withdraw my love when you stray. For I know you are human, and the spiritual journey is a long road, not a sprint. There will be times your mind feels like a battlefield. Strange thoughts, waves of anxiety, old accusations, and unanswered questions may rush in like a flood. And in those moments, peace may seem to vanish. But do not despair. Do not believe you must start over. Do not let shame hold you back. Come back. Return as quickly as you can, not with an apology speech, not with downcast eyes, but with a heart that trusts. I am waiting for you, not to scold, but to restore, not to judge, but to embrace. Peace is not a reward for the perfect, the strong, the unshaken. Peace is my gift, new every morning, like the dew on the fields, like the first light of day that never fails to rise. Each morning, my mercy is poured out on you, undiminished, unconditional. My grace does not waver with your failures. It is enough, more than enough for every moment of weakness. Even when your mind is a battlefield, I am the one who triumphs within you. You are not a victim of misled thoughts. Negative thoughts are not the truth. Fear is not your identity. You have been given a powerful spiritual weapon, the mind of Christ, full of clarity, peace, and understanding. I will teach you how to take every thought captive to truth, not by sheer effort, but by letting me transform the deepest places within you. I will teach you to face the uninvited thoughts and say, "You have no place here." I will show you the difference between the true and the false, between my voice and the enemy's. And you will learn not only to master your behavior, but your awareness. Believe that I am at work, even when you feel at your weakest. I do not wait for you to get better before I begin transforming you. I am working in the quiet, in the hidden places, in the deep layers of your soul that even you do not fully understand. Every time you choose stillness, choose to return, choose to sit in my presence, it gives me space to heal, restore, and pour out. Do not let the world tell you that stillness is a waste of time. In truth, in stillness, my time unfolds. It is the place where you step out of the dizzying pace of this world and enter the eternal flow where my presence is enough, where you don't need to run or strive or prove. You only need to be my child. And if you keep returning, keep listening, keep practicing stillness day after day, you will see your heart will be more firmly established. The noise will lose its grip. The torment will no longer control you. And then you will no longer live in reaction, but in reflection of me. You will act not from pressure, but from guidance. You will speak not in defense, but to express life, and people will see the stillness in you, not an empty silence, but a presence overflowing. I am the Lord your God, unmoved by time or circumstance, and you, when immersed in me, will become the same, not easily shaken, not easily swayed, but steadfast, clear, and kept within the strong stillness of faith. My beloved child, listen carefully, for what I am about to say is not a gentle whisper among many words. It is a declaration of power, a truth as unshakable as my throne. Peace is your authority, not a fragile feeling, not a fleeting state, but a spiritual weapon, a sacred territory, a powerful instrument I have placed in your hands. When you choose to hold on to peace, you are not merely choosing comfort, you are stepping into the position I have given you, the position of a child. Unheir, a representative of an unshakable kingdom. When you walk in peace, you walk with me, and where my presence abides, chaos cannot rule. The atmosphere around you changes, not because you shout, but because you are silent in me. When you refuse to be shaken, you become an anchor in the storm, a pillar in the shaking, a living testimony that another kingdom, a kingdom not of this world, is at work in the midst of this one. And that, my child, confuses the enemy. He doesn't know what to do with a child of mine who doesn't react the way he expects. He waits for you to rise in panic, but instead, you open your mouth in praise. He hopes you will lash out in bitterness, but you choose holy silence. He tries to wound you with rejection, but you rest in my eternal acceptance. He uses circumstances to shake you, but your faith stands firm like a rock. And in that, he has no weapon left to fight. Child, you don't need to raise your voice to prove your power. You only need to remain in my peace, and that alone is enough to drive back the darkness. Your calmness in me is a kind of victory the enemy cannot comprehend. And that is why he tries in every way to steal your peace, not because peace is minor, but because he knows if you lose your peace, you are more likely to lose your direction, your discernment, your vision. But if you keep your peace, you keep your spiritual position. So, my child, do not take your peace lightly. Guard it as a warrior guards his armor. Let it cover your mind, your emotions, your actions. Let it become a refuge for your soul, not just a place you run to in the storm, but the place you live each day. Wear peace like a fragrance, so that anyone who comes near you senses something different, a stillness not of this world, a rest that cannot be shaken. Remember, everything around you will change. Seasons will shift. Relationships will evolve. What once felt familiar may fade away. But my peace, the peace that flows from my very throne, will never run dry. Never lessen. Never lose its power. I do not give it the way the world gives, with conditions, with expiration, with fragility. I give it like a living stream, always flowing, always enough, always fresh. Even if you lost your way yesterday, my peace is still sufficient for you today. Even if tomorrow trembles with uncertainty, that stream will still run through it. And now, I speak these words over you not as a gentle suggestion, but as a lifeline tethering you to truth. Do not let your heart be troubled. Do not let fear take root. There is nothing to fear, for I have overcome. Not will overcome, I have already overcome. And because you are in me, that victory is yours too. When you are near me, you are in the safest place, not because there is no storm, but because in the storm, I still hold your boat. Keep your heart tender. Do not let disappointment harden your love. Do not let wounds obscure the holiness within you. Do not let toxic words seep into your mind. Let peace guard every thought, every emotion, every decision. Let peace become the gateway, the filter through which everything entering and leaving your soul must pass. For it is in peace that you will see me most clearly, not in the chaos, not in the anxiety, but in the stillness when everything else settles. And only my voice remains gentle, steady, full of love. And when you see me, you will see yourself again. Not the distorted image painted by the world, not the shadow of false expectations, but your true self, the one I created in my image, to carry my glory and to walk in my authority. You are not as weak as you think. You are not as small as the world claims. You are not as helpless as your emotions say. You are stronger because your strength comes from an unending source. You have been given the mind of Christ. You are being restored, led, and held by me, the one who never sleeps. I am your peace. When your heart is unsteady, I am your solid rock. When the night is deep, I am your song in the darkness. When the world forgets you, I am the one who never looks away. When you do not know what to pray, I am the one who understands even your wordless sighs. When you have nothing left to give, I am the one who gave all for you. And when you feel unworthy, I am the one who has declared, "You are mine." So now, my beloved, rest in me. Do not let anyone or anything take your peace. Do not let words, circumstances, or the enemy cause you to forget your most powerful weapon. Your peace is your authority. Guard it. Live in it. Move from it. And remember, every time you preserve your peace, not only are you free, but everywhere you go, you carry the atmosphere of heaven. You become a light bearer, a changer of climates, one who moves in silence, yet makes darkness tremble. Now is the time to enter the holy place. Offer me your prayer with all your love and faith. Almighty God, the giver of peace that surpasses all understanding, I come before you with a restless heart. In the midst of a noisy world and clashing voices, please teach me how to hold fast to the peace that comes from you. Show me how to guard my heart like a watchful gatekeeper, letting no anxiety, envy, or confusion take the place that belongs to you alone. When I am wounded, when my heart is troubled, remind me that you are with me even in the rocking boat of this life. I do not need to see the storm cease, only to see that you are holding my hand. Please, silence the voices of negativity and quiet my soul in the stillness of your presence. Beloved Father, the one who sees deep into my heart, I confess that there have been many times when I have lost my peace through rash reactions and my own attempts to protect myself from pain. But today, I choose to let go. I no longer wish to carry bitterness or resentment in my heart. Help me to forgive not by my own strength, but by your grace. Uproot every poisonous root that I have not yet seen, and fill the empty spaces with your unconditional love. I know that I cannot preserve peace if I still cling to the desire for revenge. Teach me to place that desire into your hands. For you are the God of justice, Eternal One, my shelter through every storm. I confess to you that there are moments when I feel weary, misunderstood, and tempted to withdraw. Yet I thank you that your love for me is not driven by fleeting emotion, but anchored in everlasting covenant. You have never turned your back, even when I wanted to give up. Today, I return to you not only to be comforted, but to surrender all that I am, including the broken parts. Help me to remember that I cannot hold peace while holding on to vengeance. Help me to lay down that burden, not because I am weak, but because I trust that you are strong enough to handle it far better than I can. Merciful God, I thank you for the unshakable peace that is yours. I know that though the waves may rise and the world may shift, you remain the solid rock of my soul. Thank you that every morning I wake, your mercies are new, and your presence continues to invite me into rest. You did not wait for me to be perfect before loving me, but loved me in the midst of all my imperfections. I am grateful that you not only give me peace, but also teach me how to live in it, to share it, and to guard it as a spiritual treasure. I bow in gratitude, for that peace is flooding my heart even now. Faithful Lord, I thank you for your abiding presence that never leaves me. When I feel weak, you are my strength. When I am confused, you are my wisdom. When I walk through darkness, you are the flame that never goes out. I am thankful that you do not scold me when I fall, but draw near and lift me with gentleness. You are never in a hurry, never weary of my journey. Every step I take, you are beside me. Every tear I shed, you see and remember. And I thank you for always being a safe refuge to which I can return. I offer this prayer in the holy name of Jesus Christ. Amen. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so that together we can build a strong community of faith